There it is.
Your team.
So somebody on your team has to get over there.
Hey, Tony, what we're going to say
One,
is
I guess, right?
Winning feels pretty great. Try to find a guy who doesn't care about winning at something. A simple yard game, a video game, sports, a position at work, relationships, grades, something. It's why we count likes on social media, keep score, and measure results. It's also why we sometimes don't want to keep score. It's normal to want to win, but not every win counts the same. A win at work is sometimes, but not always, a win at home. Oh, and Jesus said something about winning the world but losing your soul? What's that about? How can we start really winning?
So I'd been in ministry, I guess 6 years, 7 years. And my youngest daughter at the time was 4 years old. And I found myself driven by this thing to be more successful with ministry, full-time ministry, than with my family. And I realized one day in that period of time that what would it look like if I saved the world, or God used me to save the world, but I didn't save my own family. And so I really began at that time when she was 4 years old to do some things intentionally, to get focused on my family and really find that thing between work-life balance, I think that a lot of us struggle with as men. And so if you fast forward through the years, in 2008, I found myself burned out. I'd been in ministry 27, 28 years, but I felt like a failure. I felt like the joy of what I was doing was completely gone. I was getting up and I was teaching and I was going through all the motions, but it wasn't life-giving. I really came to this time where I stepped away from full-time ministry. Long and short of it is we basically lost everything, and I found myself at 48 living with my mother-in-law, which my mother-in-law is a fantastic person, just to clarify that. And I'm not saying that because I should. I'm saying that because she really is, and she was gracious and opened her home. During that season, I was almost 50. I've lost everything that I think is success, and feeling like an absolute failure at life. You know, when we sit down with other men, we generally go to that place of, so how much money are you making?
Yeah. What do you do?
What do you do? Right. What do you do? And it's hard, I think, as men to find that balance between family and work.
I happen to be kind of in the thick of that. Family will take as much as I can give it, right now. But I also have a really great job that will take as much as I can give it. And I was thinking, why is it, just your exact question. And for me, it's because at the end of a day, at the end of a week even, and definitely at the end of the year on an annual review, I can see the results of what I put in at work.
That's right.
I might get a raise or a promotion or some kind of pat on the back or whatever, and I can see it right away.
Right.
I mean, that and the reward of being successful at work is great, but I guess dealing with not being successful at work is easier to handle than dealing with not being successful at home. So you often fear, like going to work and you can live with the results there, but when you feel the results of where you might be falling short or not being successful at home, that can really be like hard. That's a hard pill to swallow.
Yeah.